Good evening, everybody. So I started a few seconds late because I didn't even realize it was top of the hour. This is a different evening than we are used to going live, but we have been going live on Tuesdays for some time now, at least for a few weeks. I anticipate, just so that you know, for those of you who have followed me for some time, that we'll be heading back to Thursdays the beginning of the year, but I'll share more about that later. Welcome, welcome. I'm Tanya Smith, and this is Get Noticed with Video and our Stream Like a Boss TV series. And so, what we like to do is to, first of all, welcome those of you who are brand new to our space by asking you to type in hashtag newbie. And if you've been here with us for a while, you've been watching our shows, you've been following, you're part of our Stream Like a Boss community, also our new network, which is starting to get up and running for 2022. If you're a part of any of our communities and you've been here with us, type in hashtag OG. I know some folks, yes, you're laughing at me. Hashtag YouTube. I love it. I love it. Hey, Miss Lady, I see you there. OG's in the house. Michelle, and yeah, it's wonderful to see you. Thank you so much for following and for being a part of this space. So, look, tonight I want to talk about some top mistakes that service providers tend to make, especially when you're new to doing. I'm going to focus on Facebook Live because a lot of us are doing Facebook Live, but some of these things could apply to YouTube as well. So, if you're in my community inside of the Facebook group and I can't see your face, if it says user, that's because I need you to go ahead and give permission. And you should see a link or instructions on how to do that inside of the description. But just know that I am welcoming you with open arms. Miss Time OG, look, all my OGs in the house. Stacy Allen from LinkedIn. Yes, ma'am. Happy bonus day. I know that's right. It's awesome to be here with all of you. So, we're going to talk about big mistakes that people tend to make when they're using live streaming. Specifically, I like speaking to and talking to my audience, which is made up typically of coaches, consultants, course creators, people who are in the service provider industries. So, I'm just saying hello and welcoming everyone in. Miss Boldness Coach on YouTube, ma'am. It's good to see you. Yes, if you have been doing live streaming on Facebook in particular, but even if you're building up your presence on LinkedIn or on YouTube, I think the three things I'm going to talk about will apply. And I will tell you that even if you're not new, if you're an experienced or a tenured video streamer, you still may find yourself falling into these three traps. So I'm just going to speak from the heart a little bit tonight. I'm not going to do slides and all the, fun technical stuff tonight. This is going to be one of those. I'll give some of my personal examples. And if there's anything you want to share, I'm watching the comments so that I can answer questions or just acknowledge, because I know we've all been there in this learning mode, right? Especially nowadays, because many people have jumped from just regular social media posts and text messages and all those things into the space of video. Many of us are starting to just put ourselves out there because, hey, we got used to being on camera anyway with Zoom. Many of us were zoomed out, but we recognize the power of being able to engage and connect with people on a personal level by using video. When you use video, the thing about it, the good thing is that you can actually like see the other person's features and their emotions going by. You can almost have this 3D experience with them even when you're not in person. And so it reduces that whole idea of it you taking a while to know, like, and trust. It shortens that curve, which is great, not only relationship building and network, great for sales. So if you are someone who is starting out and you're trying to get your feet in the fully in the water, not just the toe, but you're trying to jump in, then I want to talk to you a little bit about some newbie mistakes. So that's what we're going to be delivering tonight. I'm going to give you just a couple of seconds for some more folks to come on in. So I will share my short intro video and then I will be right back and we're going to dive into these mistakes. I do have one announcement I want to share real quick, and that is I have a really good friend, Camille Talicia, who is sponsoring and hosting an event called the Total Abundance Summit. And that starts tomorrow and will run through or for 2 days. So totalabundancesummit.com. I actually am one of the sponsors. So if you need a free ticket, I have a few left, but you need to reach out, just DM me, and I'll send you the information that you need for that ticket. All right, I wanted to mention that before we dive in. I'm going to do my short video and then I will be right back. So go grab yourself a cup of water, wine, coffee, whatever it is that you need to relax. And let's take a few minutes and talk about these newbie mistakes. And I'm going to see if you have made any of these mistakes yourself, because I know I have. That's the reason why I can talk about them freely and clearly and be really transparent with you. So I'll All right, everybody. It's Tanya Smith here again with our streamlikeaboss.tv. You can go to that channel and you can find wherever it is you prefer to watch. You can watch us on LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, multiple places on Facebook. And that's really where I want to focus the bulk of my conversation as we talk about newbie mistakes. Because here's the thing, I think that if you're just starting out, yes, I know that YouTube is a space that everybody's trying to build on. It's the channel thing, that people are envying. They're like, I want 10,000 subscribers right now. And YouTube is absolutely a place that I think that we should be, because it is the second largest search engine, to my understanding, to my knowledge, just under Google, who actually owns it, right? So when you think about looking for referrals, when you think about looking for resources and for people that can educate and influence and empower you to make buying decisions, I can see how that would be a hot ticket for most people. But what I would say is that there's definitely a learning curve for it. And I personally kind of steered away from that starting out with live streaming. So a couple of years ago, when I made the decision that I was going to be bold and try to break out of my shell and put my face on camera, Lord, when I decided to do that, and some of you were there with me when all this transpired, but I was getting frustrated with the fact that there was let's see. All right. Yeah, I'm having some streaming issues. As a matter of fact, I actually have somebody coming tomorrow to take a look at that. That's been part of our issue lately with the sound. But anyway, I'm going to keep it going because we have a recording and we'll just share the replay later if for some reason this goes out. So here's the deal. I moved to Facebook because I recognized that it was a little bit easier to learn how to use the Facebook platform. I also recognized that there was, and thank you, Michelle, for letting me know. I also recognized that there were a lot of folks already there in my space that I had gotten to know over the years, because of us being prior military family, because of us traveling all over the world and meeting people in different spaces. And audio robot issues. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with our connection. I'm going to keep it going and I'll share the replay if this somehow goes good. Let me try to shut down some of my other windows too. But what I recognized is that there was an easier route to do live streaming through Facebook, started doing Facebook. But there were three things that I saw over and over again with other people, and I also probably was, a culprit myself in some of these spaces. So let me walk you through these three things while we're still connected. I think I'm losing some people too because of the disconnect. We'll figure it out tomorrow. Okay, number one. Here's the first one that I think we often, this doesn't matter what platform you're on, this is going to happen, okay? Because by nature of us being entrepreneurs and professionals in our field, many of us feel like we have to be perfect. So if you can hear me right now and you feel like, hey, I feel like I need to be perfect in order to be on video, I want you to give me a raised hand. Like find an emoji that has a raised hand and I want you to type that into the comments. If that's you, where you feel like perfection is more important, then I want you to put your raised hand. And the reason why this is a mistake is because instead of focusing so much on perfection and being perfect, we need to focus on our purpose. We need to think about our why. Like, what is the reason and the purpose that we've actually decided to commit to video? Why do we want to be on video? There has to be something bigger than us simply feeling like I want to be on there so I can showcase my face and be perfect. And people can see this false image and impression of who I am. Because guess what? There's a lot of false and fake people out there. Like a lot. What the world really needs is more real and authentic and truthful and honest people. What we really need, yes, yes, yes. I love that somebody's writing this from my LinkedIn space. Look, I realize this was live, huh? I'm having trouble with perfection, even though I've never actually delivered perfect. Look, if this is you, it was me too. It's still me sometimes. I still feel that way. Like things need to be exactly the right way. Somehow I need to make sure that everything falls in line. My setup has to be just right. Look, my internet has to be, now internet should be right. The reason why it's wrong is because I'm fighting with Spectrum right now. But look, there are certain things that we can let go of. If you're worried, for instance, that you just don't look a certain way, like you have to have a certain type of haircut, or you need to have perfect makeup and you're not a makeup person and you're waiting, until you find the right makeup artist to do your makeup before you do live streaming. Well, that might take forever. And guess what? There's someone in the audience that you're meant to talk to that you're now bypassing because of this obsession with perfection. So instead of you striving for perfection, what I encourage you to do instead is to strive for purpose, being purpose driven. By this, what I mean is think about what is the reason that I even have a message. Well, who am I trying to reach? And what is it that they need to know so that they can be better? Because the more as a service provider we work on helping other people to step up, the more we step up. The more they see us step up, the more they step up. It's like this whole circle, right? This circle of win-win is what I like to call it. And you can't create that win if you're so worried about perfection that you keep yourself from getting on camera. So that's tip number one. That's tip number one. And we all have been in that situation. I saw some raised hands. Yes. So I know that you've been in that situation as well. And I get it. We've got to get past ourselves. Most of the time, we're the biggest block from creating that change and that transformation. So yes, purpose over perfection. Absolutely. That's what we want. And I love this. I love what Tanya's saying too. I think the more I went live, the less perfect I cared to be. Absolutely. Look, when I stopped worrying about, because here's one of the things I used to worry about, because I had a woman that actually came in when I was early in my live streaming stages and just at the point of dealing with my husband's cancer treatment. He was going through chemotherapy. And, when your spouse, we've been married 27 years this year, when your spouse is going through something, you're going through something, right? When I was going through pregnancy, the two times I went through it, he said he felt like he was going through it. Well, when he was going through the cancer situation, I was going through that too. And I was losing my hair just like he was losing his hair, and I wasn't even on chemo. And I had it cut off, all the way cut off, like boy short. And And I will never forget when this woman jumped on my live stream and put in the comments, if I were to look up the definition of unprofessional, your face would be next to it. And I was like, wow, that's deep. And I didn't realize how much it impacted me at the time. But it really took me down this deep, dark path for a while with doing my videos. I try to tell people this story because I want you to understand that your fear of being judged is not just a fear, it can be a reality. When you put yourself out there on live streaming, you can be in a vulnerable situation. I've had, even last time I did live last week, I had some folks that were popping up on YouTube because it's an open platform. I didn't have to vet them. They're not inside my private group. That were popping up comments that were crazy comments and trying to add links. And so I could have gotten distracted had I not already been familiar with my space behind the scenes. I could have gotten distracted and allowed that to take me off track. So when you think about perfection, just know that there will be disruptions. There are going to be things that will keep you from having a perfect show or a perfect video. And that's okay. You'll learn to overcome them. Just like Tanya said, the more she went live, the less perfect she cared about being. So the less perfect I cared about being after I got over the situation with the woman in the hair comment, I worried about my hair for a while. And then finally I was like, well, I'm going to put on a baseball cap. I'm that doggone worried. Then I'm going to put that cap on because I have a message I need to share. There's something I need to tell people. And there are people asking me, why are you not doing your videos? There was a purpose that was bigger than the perfection. So I just wanted to spend a little time on that one because I know that's a big one. So the first mistake is striving for perfection over purpose, and it really should be the opposite. The second tip, and Lord, we all have been in this situation too, talking to the wrong audience. Look, if you haven't taken the time so far to really think about who your audience is, as a matter of fact, if you're watching, no matter where you're watching from, I want you to pop into the chat. Who is your audience? Answer that question. Who is your audience? I want you to pop that in, and I want to kind of see who your audience is. For me, it is service providers, typically in the coaching, consulting, and course creator industry. So I tend to work a lot with women. I tend to work a lot with women who are in a career field. So they're either working with other people trying to help them to elevate their career. I work a lot with health and wellness experts. I work a lot with relationship experts, financial services women in the industry of financial services. So there's a number of different, yes, audience members that fall into that category, but I'm pretty clear about the trend, the theme that I see. And so, yeah, I love it. So Michelle put mid-career solopreneur, busy mom. So when you get clear about who it is you're talking to, your message is going to be more clear. It's going to be clear and it's going to reach the audience that you're intended when you think about who the audience is. But one of our newbie mistakes is that we think we have to talk to everybody with skin. And that is not accurate. That's not true. We don't have to talk to everybody. Not everybody is our potential client. Not everybody is our customer, right? So think about those people who are most likely to be served by what you share, by the solutions that you put forth. Yes, Rebecca Clark, I love you, lady. It's so good to see you. Help people up leveling their work. I'm starting to focus on helping men and women that want to improve their relationship with their boss. Look how clear that is. So when you're clear about who you're speaking to, then you can create the type of content that's going to reach them and that will become a solution for a pain point or the challenge that they face the most. When you don't know who you're talking to and you're trying to address everybody with skin, which is what I did initially learn in marketing. And I'll tell you just a little bit of a story about that. So when I first started doing my own thing, it was as a result of me moving to the Dallas area and someone confronted me in the mall and said, hey, I think you should be a sales, you should sell makeup. And I won't say the company's name, but you probably already can guess. And I was laughing because I'm like, I hardly even wear makeup. I don't know anything about makeup, nor do I want to sell anything. I'm too scared. Or as my cousins used to say, I'm too scary, right? And so over time, I started getting into it. I actually really was in tune with this whole idea of having my own business and doing my own thing, and I learned a lot from that experience. One of the things that I learned that was a mistake is something that I still see people to this day make, especially when it comes to video or any other type of content. The mentor that I had was telling me that I should sell to anyone with skin. That was her take on the target audience. And I was like, wow, that's a whole lot of people. Like, that's everybody. So when I started doing coaching, I took that bad advice and tried to apply it to online marketing. It did not work. It didn't work because I don't have, and most of you don't either, an unlimited budget. You don't have an unlimited advertising budget. So you can't just be like, hey, I'm just put money everywhere because everybody with skin is my potential audience. No. The more clear you get, just like Rebecca and Michelle have shared, the more clear you are on who your audience is, the more targeted you can be about where you're spending your time and investing yourself and giving of yourself so that you can reach the people that really are meant to work with you. So that is tip number 2. Let me pop back up. Talking to the wrong audience. When you're talking to the wrong audience, you're wasting your time and theirs. They're going to hop off. They won't be part of the audience very long because today you might be talking about something that intrigues and interests them. But the next time you get on camera, they're not going to care anything about what you're saying because you weren't talking to them. They don't hear about themselves. Yes, Michelle said it made a world of difference. Yes. Rebecca said this. I made that mistake way too broad, still learning to narrow it. Yeah, when I want to go broad with my audience, I'm scared. Yes, because honestly, I think you made a really good point, Rebecca. When we go broad, when we say, well, I just want to talk to everybody, I don't want to leave anybody out. I've heard that oftentimes with people who are really starting to kind of pull back. I can tell it's one of the things I see or I hear from clients of mine that I can tell are starting to pull back and doubt themselves. Because initially they'll be really focused, like we'll work on that. We'll do the work to get them to where, okay, this is the audience that I'm going to be talking to. And then if I start hearing signs that they're saying, well, you know what, I feel like I'm leaving out these people over here, then I start questioning, like, okay, where are we right now? Let's get real. Let's talk about where we are. Because to the point that Rebecca made, it really is fear that's making you think that way. It's fear that's making you think that there's a scarcity mentality. You feel like there's not enough of an audience for me to tap into. So now I better hurry up and broaden that out and talk to everybody. And that is not the case. Yeah, we're having some network connection issues still. So I apologize for that. But I'll make sure the replay is clear. Okay. So number 3. Here's number 3, and this is our final tip. Our final tip, look, and a lot of us probably faced this within the last couple of weeks. I can say it because I'm guilty too. Um, some of us invest in tools versus training. What do I mean by this? I mean that if you are someone who is thinking about doing live streaming, whether it's on Facebook or any other platform, we can get caught up in this whole idea that we have to have the stuff. We need to have the things. We need to have the microphone and we need to have the webcam. And what is it you're using? You know, I get a lot of those questions, especially from new people. What tools are you using? What apps are you using? What platform are you on? And we can go out and we can spend a whole lot of money on things, but we haven't learned how to use those things. So what ends up happening is we have a pile of things. For a while, I had a whole box full of tools. Most of them I wasn't even using for my live stream. It was like, why did I just invest in this new mic? Why did I pick up this lavalier? Why did I go get this camera? I probably have, if I look over at my graveyard of things, I probably have like three of everything, at least three cameras, at least three or four sets of lights, at least three or four different microphones, all this stuff that we've invested in, but we don't even know how to use it, right? Yes, shiny objects, Rebecca. They are so tempting. And look, they are the fun stuff. I'm not going to lie. It can be fun to invest in tools. It can be fun to go and find that next best shiny thing. But we have to pull back and we have to think smart and be strategic about where we're spending our money and where we're investing our time. Because I don't believe that a tool is ever going to be the magic that gets you to that place that you see in your vision as success. But when we are continuously learning, when we are continuously growing because we are studying our expertise, we're building up our brands, we're learning about how to be the best solution for those people that we're serving. We're learning how to do better marketing. When we do those things, that can never be taken away. That can't be broken. A webcam can be broken. A microphone can fall apart and stop working. The internet can go out. But the things that you have in here and in here, that doesn't go away. That's eternal. That's something you got it. Once you have it, you have it. Once you learn, you can then apply to future situations and scenarios. So I want you to really be thinking about that as someone who is a streamer, as someone who is learning and growing. It's one of the reasons why even when I think I know, I always research and find others who know more than I do so that I can continue to learn and grow. Because you always have an opportunity to grow. I don't care how fancy you are or how successful you are in your service or in your expertise. There's always somebody that knows more than you. So you can always learn. You can always grow. You can read more. You can study more. You can research and you can attend workshops and conferences. And even if you're not ready to do them offline and in person, there are opportunities for many virtual conferences and summits, just like the one I shared with you earlier, and the one that I'm going to be going to in January, the Expand Your Reach Conference. So I think that there are ways that we have to be smart about where we're spending our time. And if you find yourself, here's where you know you're making the newbie mistake. If you look around and you see a bunch of stuff that you've spent money on and you still have yet to be consistent on your video, that's a dead giveaway. Y'all seen that meme, right? Dead giveaway. It's a dead giveaway. If you got a bunch of stuff around you, you got the prettiest, the nicest visual, but you don't even know what you're going to say on screen. You still don't have a content strategy. You still don't know who your clients are and what your target audience looks like. You probably are spending way too much investment in tools and not the training. So be thinking about and this is what I'm doing right now is I'm actually planning for 2022. The last couple of weeks of December, I usually just take that time and focus on where am I going to be investing my money, where am I going to be investing my time, and I map that out for each quarter, at least for those known events. So I budget and I say, okay, this is how much I will spend on continuous learning quarter one. This is how much I'm going to spend quarter two. I always have an investment of time and money set aside for each quarter because I need to continuously be growing and improving in my craft. If I'm teaching you about video, I can't keep teaching you about video content and social media marketing and content marketing if I'm teaching you stuff that I found out 10 years ago or that I learned last year for that matter, because everything keeps changing, right? And the same applies to you, no matter what it is you teach and what you train about. Remember, if you're coaching other people, you need to stay a couple of steps ahead in the industry and know what's going on. Be confident that you're competent about your industry. So those are the three tips I wanted to share. Hopefully I know we had I kept seeing the yellow bars with some internet connection issues. We will have that looked into. I've got a guy coming out tomorrow to give me some estimates and to help me with this, but I'm going to recap for you the three tips. So the first one is striving for perfection over purpose. That's mistake number one. Stop worrying so much about being perfect. Stop worrying so much about all the lights being green. Give yourself an out. My out was my baseball cap. When I started finding myself worrying too much about my appearance and my looks, I was like, you know what? Let me upscale and get a stylist at a hair salon that I love so that I'll always have the hair on point and it won't be a problem. Let me make sure I have a baseball cap that sits underneath my desk so I can whip that thing out and not make that excuse. Anything that will help you to remove the excuse so that you can do what you know you were meant to do and get that message out. That's what you focus on. What is your purpose and how can you continue to support the purpose? The second is investing. Actually, the second one is talking to the wrong audience. So stop talking to the wrong audience. And look, you may not even know right now what the wrong audience is. You're going to have to experiment. If you're in that space where you're kind of like, I'm not really sure who I'm talking to or who my audience is, just put yourself out there and experiment and speak. And the more that you speak, the more that you do video, the more that you go live, you'll start to see a trend and a pattern of people who are returning. Those recurring people are probably a part of your audience. And as you see those trends and you start to study, what do those trends mean? What does that look like? And who are my people? Who's my circle? It'll become more and more clear. And investing in tools versus training, that's mistake number three. And we're going to stop doing that now. Now we're going to focus on making sure that we are ensuring that we are the best educated people in our field. Because that's who people come to. If they want to come to you because you know so much about this topic, whatever the topic is, you know so much about what it is you say you're an expert in, that they can't help but listen because your advice has been tremendous for them and it has helped them to overcome certain hurdles in their life, in their business, in their home, right? At their dinner table, wherever it is. Those are the important things. The training and the knowledge, you'll never lose that. So I hope that this little chat has helped you some today. And I hope that you'll continue to follow. And next week, when I come back, we'll get rid of these internet issues. I'm going to work on that and figure out what's going on to get that taken care of. But meanwhile, I just appreciate that you took the time to come and hang out with me. For those of you who are a part of my family, my community, look, I'm so glad you stumbled on this too. I love it. Thank you for stepping into your purpose and thank you for stepping into yours, ma'am. I know that you are. I'm watching. I see. I want to just share this with my family that's online. I'm really, really, really hopeful that my husband makes it home. He's traveling internationally. This will be the second time we've seen him in 2021. So I'm really looking forward to making it home in about 24 hours. So if you are a prayer warrior, if you're someone who sends positive thoughts and abundant thinking, I want you to just think positively for me and with me that he will make it safely here and that there will be no roadblocks for him to be able to spend time with his family, with us for Christmas, because we are looking forward to this time. So I will be on next week, but I'm going to be on briefly because I got to spend a lot more time with Hubby while he is here for his temporary trip. I'm looking forward to it. And I just had to share that because I know there are a lot of folks that are supportive in our circle. So thank you so much for the positive thoughts for us here, the Smith family. I appreciate that. All right, y'all. Have a wonderful rest of the week, and I will see you. Actually, I'll see those of you who are inside of our Stream Bosses Academy. I'll see you tomorrow night for training. And for the rest of you who are in the circle of influence on YouTube, LinkedIn, and everywhere else, please know that I will see you next week, Tuesday, same time. Take care, everybody. Stay safe and